despite the existence of legislation against it. For example, the employment of children as chimney sweeps was widespread. As early as 1788, Parliament had prepared an act for the better regulation of chimney sweeps and their apprentices, the intention being to prohibit the use of boys below 8 years of age. By the 1860s, however, there were still considerable numbers of boys employed in this wretched work. In evidence to the commissioners in October 1862, Mr. George Ruff, Master Sweep of Upper Parliament Street, Nottingham, included the following.
Well, sirs, we have a problem here. See, the use of boys is much encouraged by the fact that many householders will only have their chimney swept by boys instead of machines. I myself have lost a great amount of custom, which otherwise I should have had, for I will not use boys.
Why should that be?
Well, no reason was given, sir. But I was not employed after I refused. Why, I've even been sent away from magistrates' houses.
What exactly does the boy have to do to sweep a chimney?
No one knows the cruelty which a boy must undergo in learning. The flesh must be hardened, and this is done by rubbing it, chiefly on the elbows and knees, with the strongest brine as that got from a pork chop as close by a fire. They must stand over them with a cane, or coax them with the promise of a halfpenny if they'll stand a bit more rubbing. At first, they'll come home from their work with the elbows and the knees streaming with blood, and the kneecaps looking as if they'd been pulled out, and they must be rubbed with brine again, and perhaps go off at once to another chimney. And there are some boys, I've heard, the flesh doesn't harden for years.
Information from the two inquests held by Mr. Michael Brown, solicitor and coroner to Nottingham, revealed other details of a common fate of climbing boys.
I remember two inquests which I have held on deaths of climbing boys in chimneys. In one case, when the master came with his boy to sweep the chimney, the fire was still burning and it had to be put out. And something put over the still hot iron of the fireplace to enable the boy to rest his feet upon it starting. I attributed the death in this case partly to the air in the chimney having not had time to become fit for breathing, so that exhaustion was most likely to follow. A hole was broken in the wall to get the boy out. In the other case, the master had lit straw under the chimney to bring the boy down, as the master thought the boy was asleep, when in reality he was dead. These facts were proved before me.
In 1875, Parliament strengthened the existing laws by adding two essential requirements. These were, firstly, that no person should be allowed to carry on the business of a sweep without a license. Secondly, that it should be made the duty of the police to enforce the law. Being clearly licensed and closely monitored, the chimney sweep could no longer afford to openly force young children to the horrors of the chimney, bringing this wretched work to an end. The 50-year period from 1830 to 1880 saw extensive investigation, debate, and gradual progress to prevent the exploitation of children and child labor. Improvements, as we have seen, were often piecemeal, growing out of heated debate, outright opposition, and the inevitable compromise. From 1880, however, compulsory elementary education at long last began to triumph over the demands of employer and employment. By 1891, 100 years ago, elementary education to all intents and purposes became free. However, faced with large numbers of illiterate and deprived children, The scale of neglect and abuse was a shock. Educationalists and society now had to confront the question of how to improve the woeful physical condition of their young. A new wave of social inquiry began as fear grew that urban society was spiraling out of control. One massive problem had been solved, only to reveal another, more protracted nightmare.